One, I want to tell you that there are many people who are fearful about what the deep state will do and what the so-called system will do. I want to tell you, God has already given us a manifestation. Let me give you a testimony. When we lost our member of parliament in Kiambaa, we had to have a by-election. My team, we had a candidate, very good candidate, whom we had worked with. We'd been together, and he was a good candidate and a very strong candidate. In fact, in the opinion polls that we did immediately after, when we were preparing for the by-election, he had approximately 70% of the vote. But when it came to the by-election, our candidate was bought. So our candidate went to the other side. And so we were left with no candidate. So we asked ourselves, so what do we do? Maybe some say maybe we just forget about it. In any case, it's just 1 year. So let's just, organize ourselves for the next election. But other people said, no, let's look for another candidate. So we looked around. We found one fellow who had run before. Then after a while, he again disappeared. Then we got another guy. But then there was this young man who was the briefcase carrier of our original candidate. So, and then this young man was saying, let us look for a candidate, but in the event that there is no candidate, I'm available. So I kept looking at him, and I was saying, no, it can't be this one. So let us continue looking. And finally, we were stranded. We didn't have a candidate. And then there was this young man, and he said, okay, if we decide as a party that we are not running a candidate, no problem. But if the party decides that there is no candidate, I'm available. So finally, we settled for the one who was available. And it was not an easy decision, because on the other side was our formidable candidate with 70% of the vote in our opinion polls, with a system on that side, with a deep state on that side, and everything that you would need to win an election on the other side. Now we had this young man with no experience, with no money, but he was available. I think Honorable Rigathi and all the people who are here know very well about that story. And Indi Nyoro is here. So we had a conversation. He said, surely, are we going to go to this election so that we are humiliated by the so-called system and deep state and what have you? But finally, we said, fine, we are going to go into this election. This young man had about 10% of the vote in our opinion polls. But you know what? God used that occasion to answer. God used that by-election to answer the question in your minds about the deep state and the system. God gave us victory. John Njuguna Kawanjiko won the election. You know, you were there. This good man was there. Yes, he comes from Kiambaa. Yes, that Kawanjiko won the election. So, have no fear. The system and the deep state will not steal our victory. We already have evidence that they don't have the capacity to do it. They would have done it in Kiambaa. Are we together? Yeah. So, God has already answered that question. That should not be a question that should bother you. Finally, as we were praying here this morning,